Tom Frezza here for the Naval History and Heritage Command, and today we are again going to be cooking with history with a recipe for griddled broiled Salisbury steaks out of the 1945 edition of the Cookbook of the United States Navy. Now, Salisbury steak may not be the most popular recipe for sailors in the United States Navy. In fact, they would give it different nicknames like mystery meat, and among other things. But it is one that has kind of an interesting history within the United States, and a long one too. In fact, it was developed during the American Civil War in the 1860s by a Dr. J.H. Salisbury. He was a firm believer that fruits and vegetables actually cause people to be flabby, and he felt that a diet of all meats would be much more beneficial. So he came up with a recipe book containing a variety of different recipes that were all meat-based, and one of the more popular ones was known as Hamburger Steak. It's basically a hamburger without the bun, and it became one of the very first fad diets in the United States. Well, the recipe for hamburger steak actually gets into the United States Navy in 1904 when it is printed in the 1904 edition of the Cookbook of the United States Navy. Again, at that time it was known as Hamburger Steak. Well, a few years later we enter World War I, where there's a wave of anti-German sentiment because of the fact that we were fighting them at the time. So they decided to change the name of Hamburger Steak, because hamburger sounds very German, to Salisbury. They named it after the creator of the dish. So Salisbury steak enters into the mix, and that is why it is printed in the Cookbook of the United States Navy, the 1945 edition. We've broken down the recipe because the original one called for 100 portions, and a portion is 2 patties. And we're not going to be cooking that much because it is definitely a lot. So the ingredients for the patty, you need beef, boneless, which the original recipe calls for 31 pounds. We're going to be using 1.5 pounds, and maybe a little bit more too. Breadcrumb soft, originally 3.5 gallons. Today we're using 3/4 of a cup. Onions, ground or grated, original 3 3/4 quarts, we're using 1/2 cup. Salt, 3/4 a cup in the original recipe. Today we're using 1/2 teaspoon. Pepper, 3/4 a tablespoon in the original. Today we're using 3/4 a teaspoon. Then beef stock, originally 3/4 of a gallon. Today we're using 1/2 cup. We'll also be making a gravy along with it, which contains flour, fat, beef stock, and pepper. The instructions are: cut beef into small pieces and grind. We've cheated a little bit. We've actually bought pre-ground beef. I don't have a meat grinder, so we have to work with what we got. Mince together all of the ingredients lightly but thoroughly. Shape into 3 to 3.5 ounce patties, 1 inch thick. From there, broil on heated griddle about 12 minutes or until desired degree of doneness. Turn to ensure even cooking. Serve immediately. Serve with brown gravy. So, those are our instructions. We're going to get into this and see how it turns out. All right, and here's our finished Salisbury steaks. We have the correct portions in there, which is 2 of them, and we're going to put on the gravy. Here we go. All right, well, I'm going to go sit down and enjoy my Salisbury steak. If you would like more information, please visit the website of the Naval History and Heritage Command, history.navy.mil, and we'll see you at our next cooking lesson.